BirdTricks along with Baby Bo, a baby blue and gold macaw. And today I want to talk about baby bird feather care because it's a beast all in itself. These guys aren't always the greatest about taking care of their feathers. And as you'll notice, especially with baby birds going through a weaning process, they tend to get stress bars on their feathers. No matter how smooth of a weaning process it is, it's stressful for any baby bird to go from being fed to having to do it itself because, geez, it's a lot of work.
Did you know that there's several dozen things that you can do in the bird's first year of its life to put these beautiful things into rescues for the rest of their life?
We just created a baby bird course, so check out the link in the description if you feel like you need help setting your baby bird up for success. But in the meantime, enjoy this baby bird related video.
All right, so I will brief this with baby birds are hard on their feathers, and you need to condition baby birds to like and enjoy bathing early on, and get yourself some really high quality aloe. I will leave a link in the video description for the aloe that I sell on my website because I 100% love it. So the one thing that I want to say about the aloe is that I found a lot of aloe sprays on the market that I just didn't like and didn't feel good about putting on my bird's feathers. So I've been using aloe for, gosh, over 15 years now on my own birds. And it specifically started with one of my macaws who just tends to have naturally more dry skin than my other birds. And this was happening no matter what climate I was in. So I lived in Florida for 6 years. It happened there. So aloe is something that I've just kind of adapted for all of my birds, and it's also something that I use on clients' birds to make their feathers just super shiny. You can kind of think about it as a feather conditioner, so to speak. It just really hydrates the feathers, and so if your bird is not into taking baths, an aloe bath will go a lot longer way than just a normal water bath. So I highly recommend it for those birds, especially that are just like not wanting to bathe at all. But I definitely use it for baby birds just so that they're used to it. What are you doing licking my arm? You little weirdo. Weirdo. So feather care can be really tricky for these guys. I had 6-foot diameter aviaries for my macaws when they were babies, and JINX and TUSA did great with that, but COMET, my Camelot macaw that's yellow dominant, he just found a way to ruin his feathers. He would actually hang on to the bars of the aviary, push his tail forward, and then like almost sit on it, and he would break off the tail feathers by doing this. Now baby birds are just kind of clueless to the fact that, or oblivious to the fact that they have these long tails and they have these long beautiful feathers that they actually need to take care of because they use them for flight. They can just be really rough on them. So oftentimes baby birds look really rough. Bo actually looks super good for a baby bird. My baby birds had like all these feathers sticking out, especially at the end of the wing. And he has a little bit, you can see that he's like a little rough, but it's just from him like throwing himself at the side of the aviary when we come in because he's so excited, and he's not being the most gentle on his landings, and he's just kind of like doing it. And baby birds tend to be full force. They're still learning all of their whole control panel. And so sometimes things aren't smooth and gentle like with older birds. So just understanding and being okay that your baby bird's gonna look a little rough. The more space you can give them, the better. I will say, like, although the 6-foot diameter aviary worked for my other macaws, I wish I probably would have had double or triple that for COMET, and maybe that would have made a difference. Maybe not. Maybe he still would have found the side of the aviary and done the exact same thing, but who knows, maybe not. So bigger is better as far as the amount of space that you can provide. Also, conditioning them to accept bathing is really important. Our birds have been used in shows in the past and PR appearances, and sometimes one of them would get pooped on because they'd be housed together. And so one would just have like a poop stain on its back or on its tail looking a little gnarly. And instead of having time to fully bathe that bird, I would just take a spray bottle and spot check those specific spots, and my birds are very conditioned to allowing me to do this and just kind of clean off certain areas. You're shifting your weight. Are you gonna poop? Because I don't want to be pooped on. I'll put you over there. And so conditioning your bird even to allow that is really cool, especially with tails, because tails tend to get things on them. Yours actually looks pretty good. But being able to just kind of like pick off impurities and stuff and having your bird allow that is really awesome and important, especially for baby birds. Baby birds also tend to be a lot more tolerant. So now is the time to condition them to be okay with stuff like that. I actually did it to Bo this morning. He wasn't as crazy about it but there was like a little spot on his chest where I think he had gotten food or something else, and it was just kind of like sticky, like the outer parts of the feathers were just kind of sticky and not looking and not laying perfect, and it bothered me. And so I just took this aloe spray that I have that I sell on my website. I'll leave a link in the video description. And I just sprayed a couple spots and then just smoothed them out with my fingers and made it nice. So being able to kind of spot check your bird like that and conditioning them when they're really young is super duper ideal, because he was very tolerant of it, where maybe an older bird would not be okay. Also starting with areas that they feel a little less. So the chest is obviously not a good example of that. They feel that water, they feel everything all right there, but doing maybe a part of the wing that's at the very end, like a wing tip, or even the end of the tail would be much easier to get away with spot checking than a different part of the body. So starting easy, because as you can tell, he doesn't care that I'm holding onto his feathers. And so if I wanted to spot check any of this and clean any of this, which it doesn't need it, he would be very awesome about it, and I could do that and give a treat if I wanted, or give praise or give petting, because baby birds tend to be more into those other forms of reinforcement than treats. Boy, so cute. Okay, what else is there about feather care? I would say it's just kind of the common sense ones where I knew that was coming. Where space is key, so they aren't hitting or dragging through poop or hitting on stuff. Giving them enough space, because they are very, what's the word? Clumsy. And then keeping their stuff clean so that they aren't as likely to like push against all that stuff. So keeping it as clean as possible, because they're pretty darn messy. The other thing that's really important to me that I feel like is undervalued in the pet parrot community is sunlight, natural sunlight. There is no substitute for natural sunlight. I mean, you can do a great diet, you can give all the space in the world, you can use the aloe, but unless you have the ability to give your birds natural sunlight, like that is just, it's everything for their feather care. So finding a way to do that, whether it's an outdoor aviary, whether it's like taking your bird out in a travel carrier or on a harness, some way of exposing your bird to natural sunlight for its feathers, just so good. Even if you could only do about 15 minutes a day, that would just be fantastic. And I know those of you probably live in the same climate that I do, where you get all 4 seasons. So I really try to get my birds as much sunlight as I can when the weather permits. Like I'm all in. I don't take flight trips over the summer. I am like, my birds need to be in all the sunlight as much as possible. And then I do actually take trips specifically for free flight in the months where it starts to turn cold where I live, so I go to someplace warmer so that they can get out and get that sunlight. It's just so important, you guys. And I think that a lot of people almost look down on outdoor aviaries. I know that I get comments about it, about keeping my birds outside. People just don't like it. But these birds were naturally meant to live outdoors. Their feathers need what the sun has to offer. So personally, I feel like it's a must, and you should find a way to offer sunlight to your bird, whether it's a baby or whether it's older. It's just as important, and the feather care is kind of the same, other than older birds tend to take better care of their feathers overall. Also, baby birds, if you guys are feeding, and especially if you're feeding like mushy, gooey foods, which babies tend to be eating, you're gonna have a lot more mess around the face, especially if you miss with that syringe or however you're feeding, or they're just messier. So I like to be able to, again, it comes back to that spot checking, just being able to like spray a little spot and kind of loosen the stuff that's around there. I think it's really important. So again, the aloe goes a lot longer way than just water. And so it's my preference for my birds. I don't make every single bath aloe bath, but I do try to do it often enough, especially in the sunlight. So on flight trips, at the very end of the day when everybody's done flying and they're exhausted, I bring out the aloe bath and I'm just like spraying everybody down. They're just loving it in the sunshine. It's just really, really great combo. It's just the best combo. So those would be my recommendations for baby bird feather care and just feather care in general, to be honest. So I hope that this has helped you, and hopefully you can find ways to offer this to your birds. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this video helpful or any of my videos helpful. I would love to have you on my subscribers list so that you're notified every time I publish a new video on birds.